Syria is making a bold statement. It's time to erase the remnants of Assad's regime, starting with the money in your pocket. But here's where it gets controversial. Is this just a symbolic gesture or a necessary step towards economic recovery? In a move that's both practical and politically charged, Syria is set to unveil new banknotes in December, effectively removing 2 zeros from its currency denominations. This isn't just about simplifying transactions. It's a strategic attempt to restore faith in the Syrian pound, which has been devastated by years of conflict and mismanagement. And this is the part most people miss. The new currency will also mark a decisive break from the Assad era, as the faces of Bashar and Hafez Assad, which currently adorn the 2,000 and 1,000 pound notes, will be replaced. The question is, will this be enough to revive Syria's struggling economy? According to 7 sources familiar with the matter and documents reviewed by Reuters, the revaluation is a cornerstone of Syria's fiscal and monetary reforms. Central Bank Governor Abdelkader Husrieh confirmed the move, calling it a necessity and part of a broader strategy to stabilize the economy. He revealed that committees comprising public and private banks, as well as central bank experts, have been formed to oversee the transition. However, the timeline for introducing the new currency remains under review. But here's the kicker. Will this plan address the deeper issues plaguing Syria's economy, or is it merely a band-aid solution? The Syrian pound has plummeted in value since the war began in 2011, losing over 99% of its worth. Today, the exchange rate hovers around 10,000 pounds to the US dollar, a stark contrast to the pre-war rate of 50. This drastic depreciation has made everyday transactions cumbersome, with families often lugging around black plastic bags filled with 5,000 pound notes, the highest denomination, just to pay for groceries. Imagine trying to manage your daily expenses with such unwieldy sums of cash. In mid-August, Syria's central bank notified private banks of its plan to remove zeros from the currency, aiming to streamline transactions and enhance monetary stability. Reuters spoke with 5 commercial bankers, a central bank source, and a Syrian economic official, all of whom confirmed that 2 zeros would be eliminated. These discussions, chaired by Central Bank Deputy Governor Mukhlis al-Nazir, highlight the urgency of the situation. But is this move enough to tackle the informal economy, where an estimated 40 trillion pounds circulate outside the formal financial system? The driving forces behind this overhaul is the government's desire to regain control over the cash in circulation. By issuing new notes, authorities hope to monitor and regulate the economy more effectively. However, this initiative also carries significant symbolic weight, signaling a clean break from over 5 decades of Assad rule. Is this a step towards a new era of transparency and economic freedom, or just a cosmetic change? As Syria prepares for its first legislative elections in September, it's unclear whether the revaluation requires parliamentary approval. What is clear, however, is the country's commitment to economic reform. Syria has reportedly partnered with Russian state-owned money-printing firm Gaznak to produce the new notes, a deal finalized during a senior Syrian delegation's visit to Moscow in late July. But will this partnership ensure a smooth transition, or could it lead to further complications? Under Assad, the use of foreign currencies was banned, but Syria's new leadership has pledged to foster a free market economy, lifting restrictions to ease cash flow. While the economy has rapidly dollarized, with US dollar prices becoming the norm, concerns remain about a potential liquidity crunch in Syrian pounds, especially given the country's limited digital payment infrastructure. Could this shift exacerbate the divide between the formal and informal economies? Syrian economist Karim Shar, a consultant to the United Nations, argues that replacing banknotes featuring Assad's image is a necessary political shift. However, he warns that the revaluation could confuse consumers, particularly the elderly, and criticizes the lack of a clear regulatory framework for nationwide implementation. Shar raises a valid point. Is Syria rushing into this overhaul without adequate planning? He suggests an alternative approach, issuing higher denominations such as 20,000 or 50,000 pound notes, which could achieve similar goals without the hefty cost of a full currency redesign. What do you think? Is Syria on the right track, or should it reconsider its strategy? As officials plan an information campaign ahead of the new notes launch on December 8th, the one-year anniversary of Assad's ouster, banks are being instructed to prepare for the rollout by mid-October. Central bank circulars reviewed by Reuters detail the requirements, including infrastructure assessments and system tests. A 12-month coexistence period will allow both old and new notes to circulate until the final transition. But will this timeline be enough to ensure a seamless changeover, or could it lead to further economic instability? Here's the ultimate question. Can Syria's new currency truly symbolize a fresh start, or will it remain entangled in the complexities of its past? We want to hear your thoughts. Do you believe this move will pave the way for economic recovery, or is it merely a symbolic gesture? Share your opinions in the comments below, and let's spark a conversation.